Hey y'all, we either want human rights for everybody or we don't want human rights at all. You dangle human rights in front of people and say, if you don't behave the way that I want, if you don't have the politics that I like, if you don't take up positions that I find worthy, then I will not want those rights extended to you. Then those are not human rights. Those are privileges. That's you manipulating people in order to get them to behave in a way that you want and threatening to take away basic human rights from them unless they do a little dance for you, unless they come over to your side on a certain issue, whatever. I know we've had this argument in the past. I have seen other people who call themselves progressive claiming that they wouldn't want healthcare for all for people who don't have their politics. I really want to point people to what AOC says because I 100% agree with her on this issue. She says, basically every week, like, hey, Republicans, hey, MAGA, I am fighting for your rights. The good things that I want for Democrats, I want for everybody. Everybody in this country should be able to afford a roof over their heads to feed their families. Everybody in this country should have safety and security in their homes, not feel that their doors are going to be busted in by masked men who are going to zip tie their kids and drag them out in the middle of the night. Everybody in this country should have access to all of our constitutional rights. I believe that healthcare is a human right. Everybody in this country, no matter what their politics are, they deserve healthcare for all. Because healthcare should be for all, not just people whose politics I find to be respectable and acceptable. Likewise, social safety nets should be there for everybody who is struggling. I'm so frustrated by the videos that I have seen over the last couple of days of people who are like kind of delighting in MAGA families that are going to lose their SNAP benefits. Like I know y'all, it feels really good to have righteous anger and to want to punish other people for the wrongs they have inflicted on you, people that you care about, our entire society. I really want you to think about what kind of evangelical baggage you're still carrying around that makes you yearn for retribution instead of restorative justice, that makes you yearn to punish other people, even if it is to the detriment of this movement, to the detriment of the future of our society. Punishment doesn't work to change people's minds, y'all. You want to have a conversation about non-authoritarian parenting and how punishment doesn't work with children? It doesn't work with adults either. It doesn't work. It can result in changed behavior because you are coercing somebody, but it does not result in changed hearts and minds. And is your end goal just to punish MAGA, or is your end goal for us to get out of this as a society? Because I'm telling you right now, it's not just your evangelicalism and your desire for retribution that makes you be like, I'm actually totally fine with MAGA losing their SNAP benefits. I'm delighting in that a little bit. It's also your childism that is at play. I just want to remind you, 25% of SNAP recipients are children, and no child of MAGA deserves to be punished for the perceived sins of their parents. No child should be used as a conduit to inflict suffering on adults. No child chose to be born into a MAGA family. No child is MAGA. And if you think that kids going hungry in this country is going to solve any problems, especially if you think that children going hungry is a way to punish their parents, and that you think that that is going to change their politics, you are deeply, deeply wrong. If you want changed hearts and minds, you don't do it through punishment. If you want this country to dig out of the mess that we're in, you don't do it through a desire for punishment. However just you may think your anger and your rage is, you think that children losing their SNAP benefits is going to teach their parents a lesson. You don't see children as fully human, and you better spend some time unpacking why that is. Those are American citizens. Those children are fully human, and they do not deserve to be punished for the things their parents voted for. I know that in the moment it feels really good to think about getting vengeance on MAGA because they've royally fucked up this country. But you'll have to understand, working class MAGA folks have been manipulated by Republican politicians, by billionaires, by a system that has been functioning for decades. Russell Vogt, the Heritage Foundation, these are plans that they laid long ago, and they have been infiltrating every corner of this country, every church, every school district, every rural community, every red part of this country. They have been infecting with their ideology. And I'm not saying that MAGA voters are blameless. I'm not saying they're like innocent victims, but they are victims. They have been manipulated, brainwashed, used. I think about one of my good friends that I lost down the QAnon pipeline, 2016, 2017. I don't think that she suddenly became an evil person. I think she was brainwashed by a cult. She lives in an alternate reality. This is something that my Congresswoman Maxine Dexter talks about. She still continues to have conversations with her Republican elected officials. And I'm not sure that I put like Republican senators on the same level. Like they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. I don't put them on the same level as, like your average MAGA blue collar voter. She constantly says the way to get out of this is conversations, is to remember the humanity of other people. And that's something that I try to lean into as well. I have moments where, I say, I'm not somebody who necessarily is inclined toward nonviolence. I'm not somebody whose natural propensity is like, having conversations and overly empathizing with people who are causing harm. I have my Calvinist baggage in here too, y'all. As much as I've tried to take it out and examine it, I know that I have not jettisoned all of it. So I have these moments where I'm like, these fuckers are getting what they voted for. And then I have to check myself and say, okay, is this really about my righteous anger? Is this really about me indulging my anger, my desire, however maladaptive it is to punish other people? Is this really about me? Is this about me and my feelings? Or is this about strategizing a way to get out of this? Is this about using effective tactics that will help us save our country from fascism? I have to check myself and say, am I prioritizing my right to comfort, my desire to indulge my anger? Am I putting that above using effective tactics? I just really want to encourage y'all here to think about keeping your eyes on the prize. What is the end goal? To build a better America, to build an America where we have human rights for all, we have healthcare for all, we end the systems of oppression that the Trump regime is currently feeding and running. Like they're just shoveling that coal right into the engine. The hate train is just like barreling through this country right now. Is our goal to stop the train in its tracks, or is it to continue to put fuel on that fire? Because as good as it feels in the moment, I promise you, making content where you're like laughing at MAGA for their kids going hungry, for them facing the consequences of their actions when they didn't understand, they didn't think it was going to happen to them. Cool, we can taunt them and laugh at them. And what is that doing to move us closer to our goal? What is that doing to bring us closer to ending fascism? Or is it just pushing us farther away? Is it just pouring more fuel onto that hate train? I know it doesn't feel great to examine that reality. We want to hold on to our righteous anger. We've been wounded. Some of us are far more wounded than others. And I'm not asking marginalized people to be buddy-buddy with white MAGA voters and to like cozy up to them and midwife their awakening. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying all of us have to remember our humanity, and we have to remember the progressive values that we say we want to uphold. We have to want human rights for everybody. We either want restorative justice for everybody or we don't want it at all. We have to dismantle the systems of oppression that are harming everybody, no matter what their politics are, no matter whether or not they are being used to simp for their own oppressor, whether or not they are being manipulated to function as a support of the regime, as a support for their own oppression. How sad for MAGA. How sad that they're being used in that way. They're being manipulated into hating the people who should be their friends and allies. They're being manipulated into hating their neighbors, into hating people who share a common oppressor with them. That's terribly sad. And we don't have to like them. We don't have to want to extend trust or friendship to them, but we have to want to extend human rights and justice. We have to want to extend liberation to everybody. So I really want to encourage you to rethink whether you are helping the cause of ending fascism in this country, whether you are actually helping bring down Donald Trump when you make videos being giddy about people losing their SNAP benefits. How is that helping people turn against Donald Trump? How is that helping fix the situation that we're in now? And are you losing a little bit of yourself in the process when you start to give in to the same kind of hate and rage that has driven the Trump regime? Our desire for human rights and liberation has to be for all of us, y'all. It has to be. That is the way out of this.